I say Kalalal, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakah Kodash, the blessings of the apostles of James Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and in honesty. This is a short from James Vigilant, James Jamaica, Montego Bay. Me and the brother Tazawar normally come out here and do the road, but the brother gone to a different parish there. So we do what we do as always, right? Going to the highways and byways, push this word, right, in sincerity and in truth, right? Because we're out here for a specific number, right? We're out here for a specific people, right? We're out here to tell our people that they are Israelites, right, from the seed of Jacob, right, predominantly out here in Jamaica, from the tribe of Benjamin, right? So we're going to get into some scripture, right? Because one thing with people, they think that the Lord, who they call Jesus, right, whose true name is Yahushai, and who they call God, whose true name is Yahweh, they think that they are opposing force against the devil, right? But in reality, the Lord creates both people to do good and people to do evil. The Lord creates angels to do good and angels to do evil, right? The Lord, ultimately the Lord both the good and the Lord both do evil, yo. It's no Satan that does evil and God that does good. The Lord is a balance and the Lord is a balance and a just power, right? Alright, let me read them out first. This is Deuteronomy 32 and verse 39. It says, "See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make it alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." Right? So ultimately the Lord controls both handles of the balance, yo. The Lord does good and the Lord does evil. Right? I think it was in Psalms. Not Psalms, but Proverbs. You have to bear with me because we're both speaking and I'm bringing out scriptures. I can't find it. Let me just quote it. Right? It say a fall. The scripture ultimately says, can't remember where it is. Alright, somewhere in Proverbs, the scripture ultimately say, the Lord ate an unjust balance. Unjust balance is an abomination to the Lord. Right? Right, so we established that the Lord would kill and make it alive, yo. Right, yeah, so the reason why we're over here, where we at now, is because the Lord has scattered us, right? The Lord has scattered us throughout the world for our disobedience. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse. This is Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. So it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Right? So the Lord says if we basically follow his laws and statutes, his commandments, right, the Lord, he will make us high above every power. Basically the head of the earth, right, will be on top as a nation. Will be on top as a nation, and we would basically good after, right? Verse 15, right? Same Deuteronomy 28, but verse 15. It said, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord to observe, do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon us, upon thee, and overtake thee. Right? So we basically got two ultimatums here. Right? Either we follow the laws and statutes and commandments that the Lord gave us, right? To be when following those, we basically will be on top of all nations, or don't follow them, and then we get the judgment for not following them, yo. Right? This is bear with me, This is Daniel. This is Daniel 9, verse 11. Right? It says, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. Right? So basically, we as a nation, the nation of Israel, did not follow the laws and statutes and commandments of the Lord. Therefore, we got the curses poured upon us, yo. And we can get some of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 same way. Alright, this is Deuteronomy 28 and verse, let's go 68 and verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. Right? So it basically written that we will basically go into slavery again, which is first slavery was in Egypt. Well, numerous amount of slavery, but the first major one, right, was in ship in Egypt, yo. Right? We never needed any ship to go in Egypt, yo. Right? Our people basically the story with Joseph, where Joseph basically got sold out here and basically became Pharaoh's right hand, and through that he basically delivered Israel and Egypt out of the 7 year of famine that was prophesied to come, yo, right, by the dream that Pharaoh had, right, 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine, right. So Joseph basically basically all the sons going to Egypt, right, and they were dwelling in Egypt, and then Pharaoh basically this Pharaoh basically said we were multiplying in numbers, right, so therefore we need to put them into hardcore bondage, lest them take over, right, and rule over us, right. That's what the Pharaohs them say among themselves, right. So that's how we went in Egypt the first time, right. We weren't brought over there, right, and we definitely never went over there by ships, yo, right. So the Egypt going to the word that ultimately means bondage, right, slavery, yeah. So or we go over Egypt again the second time was basically over here, right, in the west, where we were basically driven out of Israel to the west coast of Africa, right, and then from there we were carried over here in cargo slave ships, right, where this younger generation will ultimately don't know about because the schools don't teach that anymore, right. Everybody is kind of soft. The only time you really hear about the hard times we go through, right, is maybe them Independence Day or them Emancipation Day, yo, right. So we were brought over here in cargo slave ships, right, and from then we don't see our land, yo, right. We haven't returned as a people, yo, right. We don't even know our nationality, right. So that's how we came over here in Egypt again by ships. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 6 to 4, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right, because our fathers don't know Jesus, right. Our forefathers speak Hebrew, so who is this Jesus our people talking about here, right? The true power, right, the one they call Jesus is actually black like me and you, right,